Oh, I got a little message for Biden. Um, Biden wants to get rid of guns. You know, if somebody's going to lead the country, well, they got to lead by example, right? If Biden wants to get rid of guns, well, okay, have the Secret Service get rid of their guns. You know, the Secret Service doesn't have to carry guns. Um, you know, he needs to set the example from the White House so the Secret Service doesn't need to carry guns. They can carry tasers or something of that nature. Because if guns are bad, um, then he needs to lead by example. You know, he needs to disarm his Secret Service because that's what we use guns for, is our own protection, right? That's one of the main reasons that we have them. Somebody breaks into our home, we want to be protected. So the White House is his home, and if Biden wants to lead by example, well, then just he can learn what it's like not to have guns with his Secret Service people. And then, second of all, if he doesn't believe in borders and walls, why he needs to set an example? He's got a wall around the White House. If didn't I see in the news they put this barbed wire fence around the White House? Why is the walls important for him? It's not important for our country. He needs to lead by example and take down that wall. He needs to lead by example and get rid of the guns in the White House. The Secret Service needs to disarm. Because that's what we're talking about here. And while we're on the subject, why should he have better health care than what I have? Why do all these people in Congress, I don't have health care. Why do they have health care? Why are they more valuable than me? I'm an American. We have to treat everyone equal. We have to give everyone the same value. Is Biden really more important than me? I don't think he is. I actually think that some of the things that I've discovered in some of the books I might be writing, I actually think I'm more important than Biden. Far, way more, 100,000 times more important than Biden ever was, or can be. I'm more important than Biden because I just had a life transformation moment of I see things that he could never see. I see things that can help this country better than he can ever begin to do. And so I think if he really wants to be the president of the United States, he needs to lead by example. Have the Secret Service disarm. If you really care, you say you care about these immigrants from these other countries. Why have you not said, Mr. Biden? Why have you not said one word about the people in California? Why haven't you changed anything for them? All those people all these homeless, we have a home, Mr. Biden. We have a home in the United States for every person. We have two houses. We have two houses sitting around empty in the United States. For every homeless American, there's two empty houses. Why haven't you said anything about that? Why aren't you taking care of your own first? Oh, is it because you want voters? Is it because you want voters to give you power so you can do whatever you want to do and take away our rights as Americans to have a gun? I don't see you disarming. I don't own a gun, but I would like to have one because there's people that will break into your house and there are people that will kill you. And it ain't that hard to kick in a door. Any man could probably kick in just about any door with a good kick. Maybe a few kicks, especially some of these powerful guys out there. Football player probably could take a door down if you hit it a few times hard enough. So anybody can bust out a window. It's just glass, right? we all can't afford to make our homes that way. We just got to hope there's people out there that aren't crazy and that will break into our homes. So, we have the right as American citizens to have a gun, just like your Secret Service has a right to protect you, because you're of no more value than me. You don't know who's rising up in this country. You don't know what values and things are rising up in people. You have no clue. Who says that you're great? I've watched you. I was weak mentally all my life for 40 years, but something? I had a moment that just changed everything. And I can pass that on to every American, every person. I can make this country 1,000 times better country than you. So something? I think you should lead by example or get out of the way. You really do. You need to get out of the way. If you can't run this thing, if you can't run this country and do it right, then just get out of the way. Let somebody else in there. There's no shame in stepping down. You be honest. We're tired of the lies. That's what these people that attacked the Capitol was about. They're tired of you guys brainwashing people with lies in the media. That's what that was about. They're tired of you having power and by the power of a lie. That's all you. I've watched you people in the White House. You have people running the country like Maxine Walters is just there and lies to people, convicts people without any evidence. There's no evidence there. She said 1,000 times impeach Donald Trump before she even had any evidence. These are the corrupt people that I've watched. I've watched you do these things, and you support these liars. We're not going to have a better country by liars. That's insanity. Liars do not make this country better. The only thing that's going to make this country better is to find the truth. Now you've put forth your truth, and you said open up the borders, and the borders are open. And the things that you accuse Trump done, you've already done 100 times worse because you can't deal with it. And you're saying you're trying to now you're going to spend all this money to take care of all these people when you're not taking care of your own. Your first priority, Mr. President, your first priority, and maybe make myself a little bit bigger here. Your first priority, Mr. President, is to these people. You took an oath of office. We voted you in. These other people, you're recruiting them for voters. These people that you're saying that are better than us, they didn't vote you in. So you have an obligation to the people that put you in office. And those people, a lot of those people were in the street. A lot of those people, you have an obligation to them first. Before you go opening the borders and trying to deal with the problems of all these other countries. And I'm not saying that we should not help these people, but you got to help. This country has to help itself first. And another thing we need to do is stop being so selfish. Americans are selfish. We need to help other people. We need to help these other countries. But we can't do it. We can't do it, Mr. President, because we're bleeding to death. You fought Trump, and Trump was just trying to stop the bleeding by any means possible. Whether, so we continue doing fossil fuel for a while. Don't you understand that we're bleeding to death? Let's look at the national debt. National debt clock. Let's take a little look at this, Mr. President. This is us bleeding to death. And you ever seen a wound, Mr. President, that was so big that you can't stop it? That's what this is. This is blood. That's why it's good that it's in red, because this is blood. This is the country bleeding. You don't have to defeat this country by a war. All you have to do is make stupid decisions and put it in debt, and it will destroy itself. And that's what we've done. We are destroying ourselves. It was every 30 seconds that we were going $1 million into debt. We were going $1 million into debt. I haven't timed it lately to see if it's got faster than 30 seconds. But you need to lead by example. And the first example you need to do is you need to take care of the people of the United States. We need to make this the best nation. And we got to take care of our own. And then if we can take care of, like, for example, people don't have children, Mr. President, since you don't seem to have any common sense. Letting other people into the country is like a family deciding to have children, since you don't have any real sense as a president. You have no real sense as a president, but do you understand, Mr. President, that before someone has children, they have a stable home? Is this place stable? Is America stable? Do I have health care? Does millions of Americans have health care that is as good as yours? Everyone should have health care as good as yours. We should have the best health care in the world, because we're the ones that work. We're the ones that pay the taxes. We're the ones that have ideas to make this place a better thing. We're the one that takes those ideas, present them to you, and then your leaders then pass bills based on our ideas. Those are our ideas. Now, perhaps you are not listening enough to us and focusing on just having power and opening up the borders so you can have voters. But something, Mr. President, you do not have children, as in open up the borders and allowing more children to come in here, until you can take care of your own. You've had this country's, even most people don't have kids until they have a stable home life to bring those kids into. But we already have kids. That's all the people in the country. And we're not taking care of those. And you want to have more kids? You want to bring these kids from other countries? And I want to help these people too. I think everybody in the world should be happy and healthy. And that should be the goal of the United States. That's a good goal. But you can't do it if we die. We're dying here. This country's dying. Our own people are dying. I almost died of a heart attack about a year ago. Because if I went to the hospital, I thought, well, I can't pay my bills. I don't got anyone to pay my bills. If I would have went in the hospital, does welfare pay my bills? Does it pay my rent? No, I would have got evicted. And that has nothing to do. This was before COVID. This was more than a year ago, before COVID. I couldn't even lay down without almost having a heart attack. I couldn't even lay down. And then when I woke up in the morning, I had to be careful because I was about ready to have a heart attack. I don't have health care. But thank God that I do believe in God, which you're offending this very God by another clock. Let's look at another clock in which you're offending this God in this country. Let's take a look at that clock. The abortion clock. You're offending the God that helped me, since I don't have any health care. You're offending him by making an offering in blood to Satan. Look how many babies got killed today on your watch. Is this taking care of your own killing babies? You just had 1,856 babies murdered today. Because and in a year that's a million. That's double COVID. And let me give you some other factors since you think COVID is so important. Do you realize that 450,000 people died from cigarette smoking? Now, where's the national emergency? That's a freedom. That's a freedom. Just like guns are freedom and kill 20 to 30,000 a year. Well, cigarette smoking is a freedom also. And 450,000 people died every year. And not just from one little COVID outbreak that just happened for 1 year, which we almost got back under control. We're talking about something that happens every year. And you don't even seem to see it. And that's putting a stress on the healthcare system, putting a stress on employers that have to pay for this. Don't you know how to fix these problems? I do. I know exactly how to fix this healthcare problem. I'm not going to give the secret here, but it's very, very simple. It's so simple. I'm surprised you don't know how to do it. I know how to do it. It is simple. Seems like all you know how to do is murder people here by giving freedoms to murder people. Do you realize that there's 240,000 or 250, I think it's 240,000 medical mistakes, the third leading cause of death last year from medical mistakes? I don't see you closing any hospitals. And I don't even see me having hospitalization to get into a hospital in the first place to be killed by the hospital. So, Mr. President, if you want to have big talk, lead by example. Have the Secret Service lay down their guns. If you want us to lay down our guns, you open your border around the White House if you want to open the borders around the United States. And let all these drug traffickers in, all these terrorists that caused 9/11. You're just letting them flood into the country with no regulation hardly at all. They're just flooding into this country. And you can't even take care of your own. You got people in D.C. that are homeless that come down there thinking, maybe this is the greatest country in the world. Let's go down to D.C. If there's anybody that cares in the world, in this entire world where the United States is supposed to be this democratic that's so great, let's go to D.C. People in D.C. walk past the homeless like they are dirt. You can't treat Americans like that. And what about these people in the VA? You don't take care of the soldiers that die? Why don't you be passing laws to be taking care of them? They have a right. All you guys do is pass little bills in Congress, and most of the bills are corrupt and ain't any good. You're stealing from the public, and not even and endorsing people that'll vote for you. You're not even helping the people. And here's these people that actually died for the country, got their legs blowed off. And you can't even give them as good as health care as what you have, you selfish people in Washington, D.C.? You can't even give these people the same health care, as good as health care you have them in these VA hospitals. I've seen VA hospitals. They don't even have piped-in oxygen. They have tanks, and if the tank runs out, they die. There's places, last time I checked, it's been a while, but that's the way it was. That's like a nurse. The nursing homes that aren't even equipped with oxygen, and people go there to die also because the care there isn't as good as a hospital. You can send a person. I worked in medical field for 20 years. You can send somebody out of a hospital to a nursing home, and because they don't have skilled people in nursing home, that person dies. What about all those people that are dying? So basically, lead by example. And as president, you need to help the American people first. And if you help us first, well, then we can be strong enough to help all these others, because some of us want to help everyone. And not only this country do we want to help, we want to make this country so strong that we can spread this strength of technology and and education, that we can make the entire world transformed, that we can help everyone in the world, that we can help the entire world not have sick people or homeless people. If you invest enough money in Americans in education, give people free education, do you realize that from other countries that we have all these doctors from other countries because they can get an easy education over in their country, which isn't as good as ours, then they can come here and be a doctor because we don't have enough doctors. We've got plenty of people I've seen just working at factories and different places that could be doctors, but they didn't have the education to do that. Now, if we're going to make this country a better place, who's going to do it? Duh. If we don't educate our people, then how can they become scientists? How can they become these people to make this country better? Who's going to do it? Are you going to do it? Is Maxine Walters going to do it? Is Nancy Pelosi going to do it? You guys don't even know how to run the country. You have no clue what you're doing. You got this crazy thing happening of all these people rushing into the border, and you haven't even begun to take care of your own first. How about spending a year taking care of your own and getting the homeless off the street and passing widespread health care reform that every American can have as good as health care as you have, and every VA person have that health care that fought in wars. Every American deserves this. If we do not help our own with the best education, the best cities, controlling crime, getting rid of the drugs and everything else that we have in all these neighborhoods, if we can't pass federal laws to make states better places, we've got to make this country better. We've got to stop empowering people that really aren't doing anything other than getting their own self elected. But it's time that that you actually think about what you're doing. This power game that you've all been playing, that's all it is. It's a childish power game where all of you've been doing is playing power, fighting for power. Well, this shit's got to stop. This shit's got to stop. You got to stop being like a bunch of little children. You got to start working together. To make this country a better place, you got to stop fighting. You got to stop being a bunch of little children. And you have to rise above it all to actually help the American people. Because if you don't help them, we can't help the rest of the world. We can't even help our own selves. So if you want to be a leader, well, step up to the plate.